Hey Heretics, how's it going? James here for Heretic Wargaming. So today, I'm going to show you guys how to get and operate Tabletop Simulator. Now, I have been a last second holdout, and apologize again for the terrible camera. Man, the camera on this thing is terrible. but yeah, I was a holdout for TTS. I am a big believer in playing our plastic miniatures as they are intended. However, due to now me being locked in with Corona for the Corona stuff, isolating and all that fun stuff, I decided to download it to play with some friends, and that way I don't get rusty, right? Now the cool thing is, it's a lot more pleasant than I figured it was going to be. Now there are some struggles, there are definitely some issues with it, but after playing I'm about 10 games in. I feel like I have a very comfortable grasp of what it is, and so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys kind of what I did to get started, and then show you guys some tips and tricks that the various people that I have played have shown me. So let's go ahead. Stop that one. That one. So obviously the first thing you need to do is download Tabletop Simulator via Steam platform. So install Steam, get Tabletop Simulator, download it, and you have the program, right? Pretty easy. The second thing you need to do, which most of you guys already have, is go to this Discord. So it is the Tabletop Simulator Warhammer 40k Discord. Now, when you come in here, you're going to go ahead and find the download links right here. And it's like the second or third post up. Yeah, it's this one right here. You're going to go ahead and go to this GitHub link. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it just to show you guys. And it's going to bring you to the Battleforge mod compilation. And then you're going to go ahead and download this. And so you're going to go ahead down here. You're going to click direct download or installer. And you're going to go ahead and follow the directions on how to actually replace. There's a file you have to replace. And I believe it tells you how to right here. Yeah, right here. You're going to download the zip file, you're going to save it under your Tabletop Simulator, and you're going to replace the save file under your Tabletop Simulator folder. So it's very, very easy, even for tech inept people. Go ahead, download this, install it, and you will have all the files. Now, the thing that most people don't cover is how to actually operate Tabletop Simulator. So I feel like that was the thing that I had to learn the most of. So let's go ahead and cover that. So once you boot up Tabletop Simulator, this is what it will bring up. And so you're going to have to go ahead. So let's go over like list creation, how to create a list. So you're going to go into create single player. And it's going to pull up your list of games, your DLCs, workshop, etc. So you're going to save and load. Once you have all the files uploaded for 40k, this is what it's going to kind of look like. So you have your maps, lists. This is a folder that I made to save my lists in, but I realized that's not how I do it, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to go into Chaos, and let's just do I don't know, Chaos Space Marines list. And we'll do, screw it, World Eaters. And so once you boot up the table, this is kind of what it's going to look like. You're going to have all your various models on here. Now, some models do not exist in here, so you're going to have to kind of figure that out. Like, for example, I could not find Mortarion, so I'm proxying Magnus as Mortarion. And so sometimes you'll have to kind of like fish around to find certain models. Now, what we're going to do is I'll show you a few different things. So under objects right here, saved objects, this is where all of your lists, once we save them, are going to actually be located. Now, first thing I'm going to recommend is go download this. It is the Battlescribe Army Creator, and this is where you get Battlescribe to TTS. That is the website, Battlescribe to TTS. That's where you can actually upload any list, and it'll actually give you a code to put in here. And so, yeah, here, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys an example real quick. Let me do a list that I have. Actually, yeah, it's really hard to do on your phone. You have to do it basically with a computer. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in the code here. It's going to actually populate a list of names for your a list of models, and you're actually going to have to assign the various models to the various functions in your army. So recommend you do that. The thing is that it does it allows you to do ors and stuff like that because you normally cannot do that. So yeah, you can't normally do that. You can only do it with a battle scribe to TTS army, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute. But let me just show you a rough, assuming you don't want to do battle scribe to TTS, how you would create an army. So I'm going to grab some rough models. So let's just say I wanted a Mutilator, an Obliterator, some Havocs, and Terminator and Sorcerer Armors. Just rough, little teeny patrol. I don't know, whatever this would be. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight whatever your army is. So I always recommend like clearing a spot on one of these tables off to the side or something. Highlight your army. You're going to right-click. Then you're going to save object. You're going to type in the name of whatever you want to save it as, and it will save your army. To locate your army, you're going to go to your saved objects, and you will find whatever the army is. So obviously this was random. And when you click on it, it will bring in your army. Pretty easy, right? So I always just build my army list in Battle Scribe, then I kind of just come in here, do my Battle Scribe to TTS dealio, upload the list to Battle Scribe to TTS, which will give you your code, type in the code, then build your army. Now, one thing I did not know initially when I started playing and messing with this was I was going to, you notice that there's various different areas you can go to, right? So like I can go into Emperor's Children, or I can go into Death Guard or Demons or whatever. And usually as a Chaos player, you're going to be playing Soup. Well, you do not have to go into each table, paste your army, and then copy over whatever models you want. What you can actually do is see this three little dots here. You click on that, you click Expand, and that's going to bring up a list of all the models available in that area. So let's say, for example, I'm souping in some Slaanesh Demons. I can go ahead and type in Demonette. Oh. And you can see it pulls up all the Demonettes. To spawn a Demonette, all you're going to do is click on it, and then you're just going to paste as many different Demonette types as you want. Right-click, and then it'll bring you back to your list. You can spawn in a different type of Demonette, as many as you want. Right-click, yada, 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 right? And you can do this for whatever you want. So if you're souping in, and it's also a lot quicker because you can just find by name models. But again, certain things are not in here, so sometimes you will have to proxy models using different stuff. Now, some of the things you can do with these models, and I'll just kind of roughly show you. I'm going to show you guys how to set up a map and everything too. But if you right-click on a model, you can tint the models. So with a color. So once you apply the color, sometimes it'll color the model, sometimes it'll color its base, but that way you can like differentiate the different squads. So I do this often if I'm running like Poxwalkers or Plague Bearers or whatever. So you can see I could have blue Demonettes, pink Demonettes, whatever. Some other things you can do with these models is if you right-click on them, usually they have the stats down here at the bottom. If you are doing Battlescribe to TTS, these are usually pretty accurate with what Battlescribe has. But a lot of people, when you're playing, let's just say you have a Terminator Lord here, you can right-click and next to their name, usually this is how you do wound trackers. So like I'll do 3 out of 4 wounds. So that way when you highlight, you can see, this Terminator Lord had 3 out of 4 wounds. Now, when you're proxying something, I usually go in here and I'll just type in whatever its name is. So if that was Mortarion, obviously I would not proxy Mortarion with the Terminator, but that way they don't get confused sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, that's a rough outline of how to build. As you guys can see, literally every model that you could ever want, for the most part, is located in here, and they are pretty accurate. Some base sizes are off, like the Bikers are still in the old small base sizes, but Yeah, I mean, this is for practice. I would not really do a lot of tournament play on TTS, but yeah, so that's how you create your army. So next, let's go ahead so we're going to go back to the main menu. And we're going to create a map. So again, you're going to go to Save and Load. And part of the toolkit here, so you have Maps, Tools, and Terrain. So you're going to have the FTC 40k map base for 9th edition. So this is where you're going to play basically all your games. There are a few other map bases, but this is the one that comes with the map pack. And this is one I learned how to use. So we're going to go ahead and load it up. And it took me a few minutes how to actually figure out how to do this. So when you load in, it's going to ask you what do you want to be, red, blue player. It doesn't really matter unless table sides matter, in which case you can swap while in the game. All right. So when you load in, this is what it's going to look like. So to enable your score sheet, you're going to click this, and then if you want to be a player on either side, you're going to click what side you want to be the player on, and it'll put your name in. Here, this is how you're going to track your rounds, whether you got 15, 10, whatever. This is battle round 2, 3, and 4, 5, obviously. And then down here are your secondaries. So you can assign your secondaries just by clicking through here and finding whatever secondaries you want. Now, some secondaries, it seems like, have gone missing. So you and your opponent can just agree if you can't find, because I think I played yesterday and we could not find Deploy Scramblers. Yeah, Deploy Scramblers is no longer on here, and that's an issue. So, and a couple of the map secondaries are missing too. But yeah, you'll just go ahead and assign your 3 secondaries there. Now, once you have an opponent, so confirm for gaming. So you have to confirm the table for gaming. So here in the middle, this is where you're going to track your command points. Whenever you start a round and stuff, it will add the command points to the player's side that it is. So, which is pretty cool. You don't have to physically come up here and add unless you forget to start the game, like me. I do that quite often. And it's pretty nice. And it'll also track your battle round here in the middle as you go. Down here is where you're going to select your mission, so I'll go over that in a second. So first thing you need to do is you need to load up a map. So you can download various maps through the Steam store. There's also various web links. We won't really cover that, but we'll cover the maps that you get in the main thing. So you're going to go ahead, go to Games, load, Save Load, go to Maps, Tools, Terrain, go to Maps. We're playing a Strike Force 2K game, so you're going to go to Strike Force. And then these are the various maps you have. Not all maps are created equally. Some of them are kind of terrain sparse. So I would recommend going through here and just kind of looking at them. Some of these missions or some of these maps are pretty, in my opinion. So let's load up the one that is the most like. Oh, I'm trying to remember which one it is. It's not that one. I want to say it's this. No, it's not that one. Did I lose the map? We'll just load up a random map. That one. So what you're going to do, whatever map you want to load up, you're going to click the 3 dots and click Additive Load. And it's going to ask you want to load it? Yep, load it. And it'll pull up your table. So this is the table that is like Nova style terrain. And so I play on this one a reasonable amount. And so the cool thing is when they programmed in these, they usually tell you what these are. So these are obviously ruins, and then what the different rules are for ruins, which is really, really cool. You can program your own maps too if you want to get crafty with that. They have a bunch of terrain loaded up and stuff, and you can do your own maps if you wanted to. I just play pre-loaded maps. So once you've selected your map, you're going to confirm the terrain. Now, if you don't like the map, you do not have to reload the game completely. Down here on the back right of the table, if you click Open Table and Terrain. Oh, I have no idea what those are. Never noticed those. You can delete the terrain here. If you click it, it will delete all the terrain, and then you can load up a new map. So it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. So now we have our map aligned. So the cool thing is, once you figure out what mission you're going to play, we'll just click through. We'll do mission 11. from the GT pack. Once you pick your mission, it will load up the objective markers, it will load up your deployment zones, and all that fun stuff. Now, we'll cover a lot of tips and tricks on what to do here in the main area here in a second. So first, let me go ahead and load up my army that I'm going to show. So again, objects, saved objects, and let me go ahead and delete that crappy army that we had. I'll just go ahead and load up my Black Legion list. So I'll just click my Black Legion list, and this one was built mostly with the Battle Scribe tool, and I'll show you some of the things that it allows you to do. So there's my army. Ooh. Now, if your models are hovering, oh, it loaded it up twice. Let's delete that because that's going to get really annoying real fast. Delete. I don't know why it loaded it twice. So again, there are buggy things with this. And it looks like I might have crashed it. Come on, dude. Alright. Well, you guys get to see firsthand how buggy this can be. Oh, there it goes. It's acting like my memory or something's full. Come on. This is the first time I've had this issue. Ah. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, I think it got into a loop or something. Alright, so we'll go back in. We'll load that back up. So you sometimes have an autosave file. I didn't click my autosave. I just gonna come back in here. Alright, what's going on with it today? Of course, when you go to film the how to do this thing, it decides to, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out real quick and boot it back up. When in doubt, Control Delete. Alright, there we go. Back to recording this. Alright, so let's try this again. See what happens. This one, that one, load it. There it goes. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that, but... So again, this is kind of buggy, so just, if you have issues or whatever, just reload stuff, and usually it'll work. I've only had one game where I've had to actually like stop and reload it. So we'll go ahead and bring back up our map. This one. And then, like I said, mission 11. We're going to go ahead and load in the army. Okay. Alright, there we go. So once you have your army loaded in, so like I said, if you upload via Battlescribe to TTS, if you press, if you highlight over a model and you press the num key, it cannot be the number, but the num key 4, this is how you would actually measure auras and stuff like that. So what is really neat, and then 5 is how you turn them off. But that you can only do if you've uploaded a model via Battlescribe to TTS. So for example, I did not do that with this Leviathan, and so I don't have that option, or this Chaos Sorcerer. So yeah, once you have your units uploaded, so let's cover some general rules for moving. So one thing I like to do every time I upload or I do an army, and so this was an army that I've done a while ago, is highlight the entire army, right click, and go down to toggles right here, and then down towards the bottom, about 4 up, click measure movement, And what that allows you to do is when you move the model, it will actually measure how far you're actually moving the model. Hit escape whenever you want to zip them back to where they started. Now, if you're not that type of person, you don't like, so let's go ahead and turn off the toggle again. Because some people don't like that. Some people like the other ways. So some other ways to measure, you can come up here to the top left, hit line. And so this is how sometimes you'll measure out like deep strikers and stuff like that. Another thing you can do is you can hit tab, and that'll do arrows, or tab over a model, and it will also measure. You can also pick up a model, so you guys can see I've turned off the movie thing. But if you pick up a model and you hold tab, then it will measure as well. You can move 9 inches like that. Me, like I said, I like to turn it on, period. That was a Terminator. I like to turn it on, period. So I always do the toggles on. Just because it helps a lot when you're moving around the table. And then sometimes terrain and stuff is a pain in the butt. Which I'll kind of show you. But yeah, so you've uploaded your list. You've talked to your opponents. Yada, yada, yada. So this is your dice roller right here. And so in order to spawn different dice, you can drag them out of here if you want to. Out of these different bags. There's a D3 bag right there. So you can do D3s if you want to, so on and so forth. Or you can spawn dice up here. In order to do different colored dice, you can hit this little guy right here. So I've seen people do different colors for different weapons, you know. So on and so forth. And you guys can see, you can spawn as many dice as you want. Me, I like to, and something that I've learned is instead of counting out the dice from a pile, is just kind of come up here and spawn however many. So if I've got 24 attacks, I'll just do 25, pull one out, and then I've got my dice here. So you have different functions right here that you can do. So you can clear. So if you right click here, it will clear everything that's on this mat. If you click select all, obviously it's going to select all your dice. And you can roll them normally if you want to. Do not recommend that. There's actually a box right here that you can drop all your dice in. And it will go ahead and roll them into piles. Pretty neat, right? So you'll have this little red and black box and this little white box here. There's different things you can do here. So if you click on, just left click on the white box, it will just select that row right there. So you guys can see, you can select different rows. If you right click on the white box, it will select that row and everything beneath it. So if I say I hit on a 4 greater, I can just go ahead and do that and get all those off and then delete them off the board. Then there's also this delete. So you can left click to delete a row or right click to delete that row and everything below it. So let's go ahead and roll. So let's just say in my example, I'm hitting on a 4 or greater. Let's roll. Okay, well, 4 or greater, I'm just going to delete those 3 rows, and then I'm going to go ahead and roll these to wound. Say I wound on a 4+. Cool, take that many saves. Really easy, right? It's very, very quick, very intuitive. Not hard at all. And that's your dice roller right there. You can load in different, if you noticed on the different army packs, they do have the custom dice. You can load those in if you want. If you want the custom dice, I just rolled the normal, rounded, crazy dice here. We don't use objective decks anymore. This is a second way to do your secondary objectives. I don't recommend it. I just go over there and do it. And here's an action cam if you want it. We forgot to confirm the terrain. So as far as the board itself, so this map luckily is a pretty good map because there's not very many multi-level ruins. Multi-level ruins are where you're going to have issues. So I'm just going to go ahead and utilize this unit of 10 cultists. So when you select a massive unit of cultists or whatever it might be, there are various ways to help you move them. So we're going to go ahead and just select this unit as a whole. So when you have a unit picked up, you can press any number key to actually assign these in a row. So obviously there's 10 cultists here, so if I press 1, it's 1 row of 10, 2 rows of 5, 3, 2 of 8, and 1 of 4, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. So you can do it really any way you want. So it's an easy way, like if they get jumbled up like this, if you move the models too fast, they will do this, to just get them quickly sorted. Now if your models flip over like this, just hit the F key, and it will flip them back over. As you can see, gets janky sometimes. So I'm just going to jumble these up real quick to try to fix this. Hit F. There you go. We're back in business. So that happens a lot. When you have these highlighted and moving around, you can move them as a whole, swivel them as a whole by using the Q, which does counterclockwise, or E, which is clockwise. And so that's how you can quickly and easily manipulate these guys. And you can set them up really wherever. It's up to you and your opponent, again, to agree on terrain and stuff like that. Now, some janky things you might run into. So with multi-level ruins, say I'm trying to get on this bottom floor here. You notice I clipped onto the top floor there. So sometimes if you hold the T key while moving a model, it will lock them to the floor, and you can try to shove them under. But it's, again, based on your camera angle. So if you're up above and you press T up here, it's going to lock them to that second floor. So often you're going to agree with your opponent, be like, okay, well, this, if it's becoming a pain in the butt, just say, oh yeah, he's in the corner of this building, like right there on the bottom floor, you know. Kind of like how you would do if there's multi-level ruins that are complicated to actually add your model into. I would tell my opponent, you know, just put him on the top floor just to make it easy, right, visually, and then just say, yep, he's on the bottom floor here. And then you can really put your models wherever they want. So this map, luckily, is pretty good with clipping through stuff and everything. I don't really have too many issues with this map. Some other things I like to do, so Deep Strikers and Reserve, and shout out again to the guys I've played with. They've taught me many, many, many things. So anything that I put in Deep Strike and Reserve, like these Obliterators, what I'll do is, after declaring, I will go in here with this little draw tool, and I'll draw a box. That way I remind myself, hey, these are Deep Strike Reserve, why they're off the board. Yeah, and it's pretty easy that way. Beyond that, what else should I show you guys? Oh yeah, I guess how to toggle these objectives into auras. So if you want to figure out whether or not you're within 3 inches of an objective, if you highlight any objective marker and you press the number 2, not numpad, but number 2, it will turn into a sphere. That way you guys can see, oh yeah, this cultist is just barely in, smidgen, or whatever. In order to turn this off, you have to find where the objective marker is again and press 1, and it'll turn it back off. Very easy, pretty intuitive, and I'm glad that I figured that out because it was a pain in the butt to measure 3 inches for models. Beyond that, it's very... I don't think there's really much else to talk about. We'll go ahead and start a game real quick just to kind of show you guys how this tallies up. So I'm just going to say, oh, I've got 6 command points. I'm the red side, so I started the game. Hit start game. Oh, you have to have a second player to do this. Alright, well, you have to have a second player to do it. But when I hit start game, it's going to turn off a lot of these selectors and stuff. It's going to give me a command point, and then you are good to go to play. Whenever you score your secondaries up here, obviously you click the up downs. For stuff like deploy scramblers or invest something where it's all or none, like psychic ritual. I come in here, and as I do them, I'll just do like a 1, 2, or 3, just to kind of track it. So for you and your opponent both. And then obviously, when it comes to battle rounds, then you know, click on however many points you get based on the mission. And that's it. They do have terrain instructions and game instructions to kind of help you out. Some of these things I've learned through trial and error and playing various other people. And yeah, I guess to show how to, so some other things you can do is you can copy and paste. So if you right click, you can copy and then Control V to paste like normal. If you're trying to like double up dice or whatever, a lot of people will do it this way. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, you know. You can also do this with models. So like say, for example, in this list, I'm actually short 1 cultist. So it's a common issue. So you can right click a model and click clone and just make an extra model, like say if you built the list wrong or something, or say you deleted the wrong model and you wanted to bring a model back in, you can go ahead and do that. Some suggestions for you guys if you have like special weapons. So like Terminators, they only have a few models, so if you have different weapon options on them, you have to kind of like figure it out. So like in this list, the two autocannon dudes have power fists, so I actually come in and I will color tint different models based on their weapons. So these guys are power fists. This is my champion with a power fist, so I'll color him red. And it makes it very obvious for you and your opponent, like, oh hey, these are the three power fist guys. That way, when it comes to like removing models, you're not removing the wrong ones, because that will happen. And I also recommend color coding different units, kind of like you would like on the table, where you might have different colored bases or color code the models differently. You know? Oh, sorry guys, it's early morning here. But yeah, I mean that's about it. It's super easy, very intuitive, and if you guys ever want a game, hit me up. JGallegos1123 is actually my Steam name. And so let's go ahead and exit out of here for the outro. And so thank you guys so much for watching my video. I know it was a little long due to that little faux pas, but hey, go out there, get some TTS in, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the table. And see you guys later.